All right, welcome Rage to a second installment of Skelty Comics and Rage Theo on YouTube. Today we are going to go over, of course, the last 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since we've been on last, and then we are going to talk about comic selling tips. If you're new to selling, then this one will be for you. Rage, how many followers? Give yourself a little shout out on Instagram. How many followers you got on Instagram?
I haven't checked recently. I think I'm at 6,400, something like that. I don't know. I don't want to jinx myself, but yeah, my name's Rage. You can call me Rage Theo. Find me on IG. You can find me on YouTube, but you'll have better luck on IG. So yeah.
And then roughly how long have you been selling for?
I've been selling comic books for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in February.
So for us, we have about 6,200 followers. And let's see, I've sold on eBay for over a decade. And then I moved off of that.
Monster.
And now we've been doing Instagram and whatnot for about a year of Instagram, and then whatnot for a few months. So
yeah,
that's our
whatnot
that's
for
our
a couple
accolades.
months. Enjoying it though so far. Whatnot's been killer.
Yeah.
Definitely a great alternative.
So let's go over the last 2 weeks. I got something to show you. I don't know if you've seen this yet. So
play it on me.
This just came out. You know who that guy is?
I do know who that guy is.
So that's J.K. Simmons. He is J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man film, right?
Yeah, he's JJ.
He was most recently in a synopsis dropped by UK Cinema for the Venom movie.
So he's in it.
Yeah, according to the UK Cinema, whatever it was, UK Cinema line says the impressive cast will also feature one person that was in the last movie and J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, recently there was an article that got leaked with Tom Hardy saying how much he wants to work with Tom Holland. So
I did see that. He said
nowadays, man, it's kind of like the athletes. If they say, "Hey, I want to play with him," next year, that's where they're like, it's done. It's a done deal.
Yeah, I 100% agree. The most exciting part about this is that he directly ties Tom Holland's Spider-Man to the Venom Sonyverse.
Right.
Because he's I would believe he's the only character that's have crossed over.
I think you're right. Well, oh no, we saw the Vulture, Michael Keaton, in the Morbius trailer. He was in the Morbius trailer. Remember that when he was in jail?
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, fancy seeing you here."
Yeah, so super excited about this.
They've been planting those eggs for a while, man.
Sorry?
They've been planting those eggs for a while. I'm glad to see it start hatching.
Well, I know, like, individually, Sony can plant a ton of eggs and Marvel can plant eggs, but it's got to be very difficult to, like, start merging your two universes together because you have too many plans going, you know what I mean? You don't want to, you can't know the inner workings of
copyright, all that stuff.
That's got to be crazy. So this is super, super exciting because that means there's going to be more to come.
Oh, I hope so.
Let's see what else I found. Give me a second while I manipulate this.
Hey, take your time.
Let's see.
We have anybody in here with us? I don't even know how to check.
Oh yeah, shoot. Let me pull up the comment section. Yeah, we got a ton of comments. Let's see. Let me scroll back to the top here. All right, so Sam said, "Hey guys." Azor's Tiger said, "What's happening?" DB said, "What's up, Rage and Tony?" Let's see. We can't trust the Brits. Sounds like beef. That's funny. So let's see. DB said, "Nice to get together when we aren't bidding against each other for those X-Men books." Agreed. Ken said, "Hello, gents." He's Expedition Comics.
Hey, what's up, man?
Let's see. 7 likes, 9 watching. That's pretty good, says DB. Agreed.
I'll take it.
Joey Israel. Hey guys, Slabulous here. Excellent. We got a ton of new people.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. So please, if you guys like this kind of stuff, go down, like, comment. If you guys comment in the live, it won't transfer that over to the comment section of the replay. So if you're watching this on replay, feel free to go down there. Let us know what you think about what we're showing and what we are going to be saying later.
Please,
so,
thank you.
With that being said, your thoughts on this?
I was taken back a little bit when I first saw this. Rumor has it this is not the final Moon Knight that we're getting, but we might. I was introduced to the character as white, so that's the only reason why I got taken back. But I like the overall aesthetics. I like the eyes glowing. I like all that jazz.
Professor says these are some handsome hosts tonight.
It just
Thank you,
I don't like I said. Oh, thank you, man. I was introduced to the character white, so it's like, while I wouldn't mind seeing, Wolverine in the brown and tan, I first saw him in the yellow. So if they did the brown and tan first, I'd be like, okay.
Are you saying because it's kind of a grayish black, like kind of dark?
Right, and I think later on he does go to a grayish, darker tone costume, which somebody was telling me that they're following that storyline. But I'm not a Moon Knight guy, so I'm unfamiliar with that storyline. But overall, I think it looks dope.
So I read one storyline of Moon, like from front to back, one storyline. It was as it was coming out. It was a few years ago. It's the one where like the first issue, he's in like a straitjacket, and it goes through his time. A lot of it's going through his mental issues throughout the whole thing. Like he's in a mental institution,
right,
and he's going through all the problems there, but he can't tell if he's really in a mental institution and trying to escape it in real life, or if that thing is just a construct of like an illusion that's happening around him. And so he keeps fighting between himself. It's crazy. It was really incredible to see a character with those kind of issues and how they portray it in the comic books.
Is that the first solo series you're referring to?
No. It was more like 2015 or 17 or something like that.
I'll take a look at that. Okay.
Yeah, Sam. I think she was live with Comic Tom earlier on Whatnot, and she actually showed off that she had picked up that run at the LCS recently.
Is this outfit a good portrayal of that?
Of that one? I think they took some liberties with this. It's definitely not the classic. In that one, he's literally like really kind of messed up, and he just has like a white sheet on his face kind of thing that he cuts holes into because he's in a mental institution.
Feedback on this one.
And then he's also in that issue. He has like a full-on white power suit, like with a tie,
right,
and a mask.
So I mostly see him in the Moon Knight 1 and the Werewolf by Night 32. So that's why I saw this. I was like, whoa, who is that? Moon Knight?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Some people were saying this might not be Mark Spector himself, and that it's like Khonshu or like the god or something like that. But it obviously looks like it's a fight scene. That's a mirror right there. He's looking at.
He looks like he's in like a nice bathroom or something.
Yeah. So
like,
I don't know. I think this would be like early or mid into the movie in a fight scene. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, this looks like final form.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks like final boss mode.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's catch up here. Let's see. Dark Side of Moon Knight. Tony, that was the most recent volume before the recent relaunch. Oh, thanks, Joey. Have we found out if this is legit or fan made? I don't know, but I know I got this. I saw it on Everything Always. I saw it on a lot of the people that try to vet their content before they push it out.
Rockstars was talking about this too.
Yes. So I would say it's pretty legit. I wouldn't say it's legit. I would just say that it has a lot of merit to it. It does look like he just walked into the Matrix, Professor.
He looks like he owns the Matrix.
Let's see. There was one other costume leak that I wanted to pull up. I pulled up the YouTube video of Everything Always, who had pushed it out.
Love that channel.
I do. Have you seen this?
Gore the God Butcher?
Yeah, it's supposed to be Gore the God Butcher, the first look. This is obviously pre-CGC, or not CGC. What's that? What's that stuff? Graphics, like
CGI.
graphics. CGI. Thank you. Jeez.
Yeah.
The comic book seller in me is coming out. So this is pre CGI. Obviously, he's gonna have probably that like tendrils and whatever he's got going on. But
Well, correct me if
pretty
I'm wrong. His
interesting.
outfit is isn't it a symbiote?
I have no idea. It looks like just a shawl of some sort. I don't know.
Oh no, never mind. I'm thinking of his sword. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you're right. His outfit is just like a cloak.
Yeah. Do you know his backstory?
Gore? Briefly, know that his people looked up to the gods. I know that they prayed to him. Eventually, nothing happened. He got upset and decided to take matters in his own hands.
Yeah.
Long story short, went on a
Ken
God-killing quest.
He said, "I think this looks good. Just like every other Disney Plus Marvel character will go through a costume upgrade, like Scarlet Witch, Vision, and Sam's Cap." Looks like
They got to go
Ghost.
through the final form. What is it in Dragon Ball Z? What do they call it? Super Saiyan, right? You start off, normal, and then eventually you hit your Super Saiyan mode.
Yeah, I never got into Dragon Ball. You want to talk some Naruto? We can talk Naruto, but
I don't even know what that is. There you go.
Oh, goodness gracious!
You got to send it to me.
Oh, so you excited? I don't. What does this come out like next year or something like that?
Thor. Oh, well, you heard Sony's pushing back Venom and Spider-Man: No Way Home.
That's going to be an issue because if they're pushing that back and they're tying it in with Spider-Man stuff, as we discussed, then that might push all of Marvel stuff. Like I don't know how they're going to try to do that.
Well, the problem is Black Widow and Suicide Squad did really bad at the box office. So it's just making everybody on hiatus. It's like, all right, let's see what happens with Shang-Chi. Let's see what happens with Eternals. Then let's talk.
Yeah. Do you think there's merit in Scarlett Johansson's issues where she had, how it came out on Disney Plus and the box office at the same time? Like if you were to combine the two revenues together, would it have been a smashing success, like numbers wise?
Honestly, I don't think there's any way to compare it because you're talking pre-COVID and post-COVID numbers. The numbers pre-COVID were off the charts for Marvel movies. It was undeniable. They were constantly breaking records. Now they're struggling to even make a dollar. But yeah, it's hopefully they do something right with the Shang-Chi Eternals.
As you know, I'm not super big on the Eternals. I never read the books. I haven't been pulled in by the trailer so far. I don't know how they're going to do it. I have all the faith in the world in Marvel, so I know I will probably like it, but I'm not pulled in yet. Shang-Chi, on the other hand, growing up, I watched an absolute ton of martial arts movies, and I'm so excited to see a martial arts Marvel movie.
Right? I love Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, all that stuff.
Dude, I had like the black and white, like the eyebrows down to here situation.
I was kind of hoping they would do a little homage and have him dress up in like the yellow jumpsuit in the tournament, Just do a little what's that movie called? You know what it's called? Where he fights
Game of Thrones. Or no, Game of Thrones. Game of Death.
Game of Death.
Right?
There you go. Game of Death, yeah.
Something like that. Is it Game of Death?
Might be. Not, I'm gonna look it up.
It's Game of something, I believe.
I know it's the one where he wears the yellow jumpsuit. At the very end, he fights Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's like one of the best Bruce Lee movies. It's like literally a video game in movie.
Yeah, it was super, super good. Except for the beginning. Do you remember the beginning of that movie?
Well, like the slow 70s version of a normal movie? Yeah.
So in the beginning, this was after he died.
Bad English translation, yeah.
So after he dies, right? Like in real life, after he dies, they get an actor to portray him, a body actor to portray him. But then they put a still photo on the body. Like graphically, it's just a still photo as he's moving around. It's like cartoonish. It's so bad.
I missed that. I gotta look.
I remember seeing it when I was like 14. And I was like, this is funny. Now you're gonna
kill this movie for me. It's cool. You didn't watch Suicide Squad though, yeah, right?
I did not watch Suicide Squad yet. I know I was supposed to. I apologize ahead of time.
Gotta watch Suicide Squad.
Having not watched it, what did you think about it?
I loved it. I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil it. I'm gonna spoil it if I tell you what I like about it. You okay with that?
You go ahead.
Okay, I like that in the first scene that they literally just killed off the entire team that you thought was the Suicide Squad. Just straight up killed everybody.
That's hilarious.
And then as they go in, each character that they bring onto the team, like Peacemaker or King Shark, I don't know why. I just felt like I could relate with each character. I felt like they nailed those roles like to the T. And then Starro, Starro was a really cool villain. I kind of wish they would have saved him for the Justice League because he did first appear in Brave and the Bold 28 with the Justice League. Iconic villain for them. But they played that villain very well too. He messed stuff up. He was like a gigantic star walking around, spewing out his zombies. They were just taking over everybody. Like, it was a crazy battle. Yeah, man. It was pretty epic. I enjoyed it.
So my thoughts, just looking at this picture, seeing the trailers and all that kind of stuff, I feel like
side note. Deathshot, by the way, that's my guy.
Will Smith, Will Smith character.
Sorry, or what's his name? See, that shows how much you know about Suicide Squad.
Idris Elba. Who are you talking about?
The guy
John
next to King Shark.
Oh,
the guy that
Idris Elba. Yeah,
I forget what his character's name is in Suicide Squad, but that guy killed it.
Deadshot is what
somebody knows. Somebody in the chat knows what his name is.
Yeah, Bloodsport. Somebody said. I don't know if that's true.
Bloodsport. There you go.
Yeah, two people said Bloodsport. Must be it.
Love that guy, man.
So what I was saying is what I think they did successfully is they didn't take themselves seriously. Where in the first The Suicide Squad, it's taken seriously. Justice League, like I am not a fan of DC characters just as characters themselves, but this like King Shark looks hilarious. You know, you got the boomerang guy, like and then the John Cena character I think is like he really hammers this point home. He takes it comically seriously, right? Like over the top serious that character, even though he looks ridiculous.
There are scenes, bro, where him and I'm gonna call him Deathshot. I know it's not his name.
Bloodsport?
Him and Bloodsport are like competing on like who can do the coolest kill. And man, it is just the funniest thing I've ever seen like mercenaries do in the middle of a fight. They're like, oh yeah, watch this double kill. He's like, oh yeah, that's nothing. Just slicing the dude.
Wait, the tall shark guy is Sylvester Stallone? He plays him?
Yeah, he's Sylvester Stallone, yep.
That is really funny. I didn't see that. I didn't notice that in the trailers.
And he's bulletproof. I don't know if that's comic accurate, but in the movie he's bulletproof. He's a beast.
That's super, super funny.
Yeah. He was good, man. And you know what I really liked about this too? They weren't afraid to kill main characters. I won't tell you who, but they kind of Walking Dead you. Like you didn't know who was gonna die.
All right. Let's see. Yeah. The last, I think second to last topic I got for the last 2 weeks. What if? What if number one came out? What did you think?
Again, maybe it's because I'm a Marvel guy. I loved it. I enjoyed the 2D animation they did. I liked the alternate story that they did. I like how they kept Steve Rogers around. Didn't completely kill him. Made the Iron Man Mark I armor out of the Tesseract, which was just BA. And I think she killed that role. I hope we can see her in a live action adaptation.
Yeah, well, they did that Peggy Carter show, which I personally enjoyed. I wish they didn't. I never
watched it. Yeah, I never watched it.
It was okay. It wasn't bad at all.
I kind of like they did a really big twist in here. I don't know if you saw it, but spoiler: Bucky doesn't become the Winter Soldier, so that was a really cool twist that they did.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Red Skull got killed by his own creature. That was hilarious.
So me personally, I didn't get sucked in. Honestly,
tell me why. Lay it on me.
So number one, I wasn't a fan of the animation style, which is going to be bothersome for me throughout the rest of the series because it's going to be the same animation style. Yeah. I felt like it was a little too short as well. I wish they would have gone. I know we know these characters inherently of who they are, but I wish the story arc had more character development in them.
it did kind of feel like they copy and pasted from Captain America and Avengers.
Right.
Yeah, they definitely
No,
just
no, it was a
inserted what
good
they wanted.
show. It was a good show, and I watched it, and I will watch the rest of them because I obviously I'm a Marvel fan and I want to watch it. But
Got to.
I'm hoping the other ones are better. I think Black Panther, the Star-Lord Black Panther one, is the next one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm pretty excited about to see that one.
I'm really excited about the Doctor Strange Spider-Man one. I think that's going to open up some doors
What do
because
you mean?
everything in the show is canon.
Yeah, because they can just say it's a different universe, you know.
Well, I mean, they're saying everything's canon. So when you're having, I mean, if they don't do it, they'll be pulling a Ralph Boner on us and dropping the ball for a missed opportunity because you're having Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. And it literally looks like in a multiverse of madness. For you not to touch on Doctor Strange or Spider-Man's upcoming movie and just some way tie that in, that's a missed opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the old Captain America show or movie? I remember as a kid. It must have been a movie. I guess I thought it was. I've always thought it was a show.
Very, very vaguely. I kind of remember the old school Hulk show a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of remember that show a little bit more as a kid. My dad used to watch that a little bit, but never really
So
the Cap or the
there was a live
Fantastic
action
Four, you know.
Spider-Man. I don't remember. There was the ones I remember is Spider-Man, Captain America, and the Hulk. I think there was something else, but I can't remember.
Fantastic. I think it was Fantastic Four.
Really?
I think so.
Man, I would really like to see how they did the Thing back then.
Same way
Red
they
Skull
probably
is
did the
Italian.
Hulk, just a bunch of spray paint, you know. Just
Did they do a Punisher back then? Like way back in the day?
I remember seeing a meme like, "Oh, this is your kids' generation Avengers." I was like, you know, the ones we know, and it was like, "This is ours," and it was like all the old school ones, you know.
Yeah, there was a crossover in the Hulk of Thor, which was like such an incredible episode. Personally, I really enjoy it.
I gotta check this out on YouTube, man. I'm gonna watch that.
Dude, it's really good. Let me see if I can pull up a still of Thor and Hulk, right?
You ever seen the animated Thor vs. Hulk?
No, I don't think so. Oh, here's a good picture.
Oh my goodness, really? It's the one oh my goodness. We're gonna talk about that in a second.
All right, yeah. Let me show you what this looks like. This is incredible. I think it's this one. With the
yes,
man
I've
in
seen
the
that.
middle.
yes. Classic. Who played
They
Thor?
had a Justice League like in the 70s, says DB.
They had the vision then, man. They just didn't have the CGI.
Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie. Yeah. I'm talking about the TV shows. I got confused.
Yeah, so Hulk versus Thor. There's an animated movie that you could watch. I don't know if it's on Disney. I know it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
But literally, it's about the Hulk. He gets sent to Asgard. Loki takes over his body and literally kills Thor. It's the most gruesome animated show I think you could watch. He smashes him until he's basically dead. Enchantress has to bring him back to life, and then Thor realizes he can't defeat him, just smacks him back to Earth. And then it's a part 2 of the movie. When he lands to Earth, he fights Wolverine.
What?
Dude, you gotta watch it, man.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna show it to you, dude. If anybody in the chat knows what I'm talking about, holler, because that is by far
Frank
one of the
Frank Henry said that Thor versus Hulk animated film was awesome.
Yes.
That's hilarious. I don't think I've seen the old TV shows on Disney Plus. The last thing I wanted to bring up, which dropped today, did you hop into Sam's Whatnot conversation with Comic Tom?
No, I couldn't. I got to catch the replay.
So Comic Tom, he specifically shouted you out. He wanted to know your feelings on the Whatnot / Comic Tom 101 variant that's going to be in the next mystery mail call package. So I will.
Wolverine?
I'm going to show everyone here. Let's see. I think it's on my Facebooks. So this is what it looks like. He said everyone Everyone's going to get either the Virgin or the trade dress in the mystery mail call next. This was I forget the guy's name, but he said it was like the damn it, I don't know, a video game creator, art guy. I don't remember the guy's name though. So talk to Tom. Let him know what you think. What are your thoughts?
Tom, that's amazing, man. And by the looks of it, it looks like a wraparound. If I don't say so myself. I'm actually, yes, I love Wolverine, but I am, I'm really impressed with the Snowman Dr. Seuss homage.
Yeah, that's pretty cute.
I've been loving those homages that they've been doing over there with the Dr. Seuss. But yeah, it looks like a statue.
It does. It looks so good.
It looks like like one of those XM statues or something.
What I like about it is that the suit doesn't look like it's painted on him. You know, it looks functional. Even like these little cool things right here are really dope looking.
It looks like MCU accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that would be, I guess that would be really amazing. Like if I saw this on screen,
that's what I'm saying.
I would be happy with this.
Oh, I would be thrilled. Yeah, no, it's amazing.
So,
what is that called again?
What's that?
That variant.
The variant is it's a combination Comic Tom and Whatnot Comics, the Trial of Magneto #1.
Dope.
And that should be in the mystery mail call, I think next month is what they were saying.
Well, you better send me one, Mr. Tom. What?
You gotta order one. I think you can order them on comictom101.com is his website that you can order the mystery mail call through, which is pretty cool.
Steal one.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. DB says I might need to finally do a Comic Tom 101 mystery box. Raf Garcetti, something like that. LOL.
You might see me do my first one.
Raf Garcetti was, I think you're right, KB. It was the artist that did it. So DB says, so does Wolverine. I guess I can pull these up. So does Wolverine use that post to protect his internal organs? I don't think he has to protect anything.
He doesn't need to protect anything, bro. He could rip those out. They'll grow back.
Azores wants it. Let's see. Same artist from Batman MMC a few months ago. I don't know. I think he does not do comics very often at all. He's known for video games, especially what's that one where he's like the God of War, I think he's the God of War artist.
God of War.
Yeah. I throw in the photo is Hughley's. Oh, that's cool, man. That's some random knowledge, Frankie.
That's some random info, bro.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that'd be cool. All right, so let's get into the main part of this broadcast. That was kind of long. Actually,
I liked it.
One last thing. Your PC book, your most recent find. Tell us what you most recently found.
Right,
hold on. Before you get started, I recently bought a straight from Rage's Whatnot. So I'm gonna open this up right now, see what I bought because I don't even remember. While he talks about his comic,
I don't even remember what you got either. All right, so recently it was Free Comic Book Day. It was the first free comic book day actually that I've ever been to. I've heard about it. I've always missed out on the opportunity. I got 3 kids and a wife, so anytime I get a blessing. So fun fact, the comic book shop I went to, I just learned he is one of the founders of New Comic Book Day. So that's pretty cool. But at his shop, he had a company called 10 Ton Press there. They're a brand new comic book company, independent. Next month, they're coming out with titles such as Red Dawn, Frankenstein, Charlie and Humphrey, and Fight Rock and Roll. I've never heard of them, but they were at my comic book shop. That was the only one they were at. They were giving out this limited preview, 1 per customer, and the story writer, Mel Smith, the designer of the comic book, John Hageman, and the writer, Brandon McKinney, all signed this. And yeah, it's beautiful. They gave out promo cards with it, some promo pins too. And yeah, like I said, it's a preview of comic books that aren't out on the market yet. So essentially this would be what we like to call their first appearance. But yeah, super cool. and this made my free comic book day freaking amazing. So happy to have that, and
Very, very
normally I
cool.
don't get new comic books, so I appreciate this one.
You can answer that one for beef.
Yeah. So Toad, nothing but love for Toad.
That's hilarious.
I had to pick somebody, bro, and I'm not picking Morph.
That's funny. All right, so I opened up your package. As always, the little cute thank you note. He's got his. This is one thing I need to do that we haven't done is these business cards, which I think is a really cool touch that you do.
I appreciate it.
Got a couple of stickers. Oh, this one's new. This is cool, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I got a little variety.
Right? This one's pretty cool, man. I like this.
I think that's one after Aragorn's, by the way. Those fit in action figure hands.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, bro. I keep telling people that he's got. I'm like, when are people going to tag me in their action figure cases and show me like a bunch of swords these things are holding? I'm freaking waiting.
All right, let me get my Punisher knife out of my PandaCon and see how this goes.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work on TMNT. That's going to be pushing it.
Oh, no.
It works on 6-inch and 12-inch Marvel Legends so far.
This is 6 inches, isn't it?
I said Marvel Legends, though. Those hands are a little different on the 8.
There we go.
80s one.
It didn't fit in one, but I got it in the other.
Hey, that's sick.
Hilarious. All right, so the book I grabbed from you, I thought went a little undervalued, so I apologize that it didn't go above, but it was Alpha Flight 33, which is the first Lady Deathstrike, which is cool. I don't know if I had this one upstairs, so I was like, oh, you know what? Let me just snag this one before we hear some crazy rumor, and then it goes through the roof or something. So that was my most recent pickup. Literally just unboxed it. So thanks again, Rage. When's your next Whatnot sale?
Thank you. This Saturday.
This Saturday. What time?
7 p.m. Pacific Standard.
DB says he's got more swords than skeleton keys.
Hey, one of these days we'll do a combined giveaway. Yeah. Whoever sends in the most keys and swords.
Oh, yeah, but you can just buy mine on Amazon.
Well, now people know that.
You can it's literally in the description of the channel. Like, you can go to my Amazon store and buy the stuff. Well, I don't think I don't have the keys in there, but I got everything else in there.
Mine was on eBay, but you can find them on Amazon for more expensive too. So, touche.
All right, let's get into the main thing. This is going to be selling comic books. If you're brand new and you want to sell comics, maybe you've been in the comic world and hobby for a little while now, and you're like, crap, this is getting really expensive. I want to sell. Or, you know what? I want to quit my job, do what Rage and Tony do, and sell comics for a living, or for like, you're like, oh man, I want to be like Rage and get myself an AF-15, which costs $1 million, and go that route. But I need to spend only comic money to go get it. So this is going to be for you guys, and this is from my perspective and from Rage's perspective of how we do things and what we've learned over this course of probably mostly the past year to 2 years.
Yes, sir.
So that's the 3 types of sellers I came up with in my head. Did you have any others? Usually I think like the type of seller really comes with your goal in mind. Mine is to replace my job. I don't want to do my job anymore. I want to do this because I love it and I have so much fun doing it. What about you? What is your goal?
So for me, I'm kind of I kind of tiptoe between like an emotional collector and a grail collector, quote unquote. And that has many different definitions, but I got into the hobby and comics because of the way that it makes me feel. That could change one day. I could maybe want to do it for, profits and business. But, right now being a stay-at-home dad, it's just right now I need the hobby to fund itself. And I just want the books I've always dreamed of. with me, it always came down to my favorite characters. Who are my favorite characters? And that's usually what gets me down the path that I'm on, you know.
Very cool. All right, what are your main resources you use?
So in regards to buying books,
Anything you can however you want to interpret that conversation. We did not talk about this ahead of time so that we could have a really good organic conversation about what we do and what we don't do without overlapping. So
yeah.
I don't know what Rage is going to say or talk about. So
Okay.
just go with it.
Yeah. So circling back, you're definitely going to want to identify who your favorite character is. The reason why I say that is because um, you're going to want to see who you relate to. You're going to want to see what character you see yourself in. I feel like in comic books, that is like almost the foundation of why any of us are in this hobby, right? It's who we see ourselves in, who do we relate to. Usually that'll give you an idea of like the books you want to start on, the run. It'll lead you to solo series about that character, which may lead you to crossovers, and then you might get interested in other runs. Um, so generally, you know, when getting into comics, that would be my first recommendation. Go with
I
the
think
person you love.
that's a really good recommendation, and here is why. Because if you niche down, like Rage Theo is known, like if you want mutants, you want comics for X-Men or any other mutants, like they know, like Rage knows that information. He knows what the comics are probably worth and where to find them, and you just go to him for mutants. Like everybody knows that I know. Um, when I first started, I had a ton of Spider-Man. Spider-Man was the one I connected to the most, and I had a ton of him. I could pick out the keys really easily if I went to a store. So I already knew like what was the important ones and what weren't. So it was very much along that same lines.
Yeah. Yeah.
What resources you use?
So as far as resources go, I'll touch on finding books first. Then one could talk about pricing books. For finding books, obviously, comic book shops are a good resource. You're going to want to use comic book shops. You're probably going to find better deals going at the nitty gritty way, which is garage sales, yard sales, antique shops, flea markets, estate sales. Um, you're going to want to hit up all types of, you know, platforms, Mercari, Facebook, Craigslist, the list goes on, Instagram, you know, the list goes on and on. And that goes back to honing in on the characters and the stories that you like. And you're going to want to have those saved searches. You're going to want to have those notifications on your phone. You're going to want to hawk that. You got to be a sniper on that stuff. You got to, right? What is it? Early bird catches the worm, right? So no hesitation. Something pops up, check it out. Ask the person what they got. In today's day and age with comics, I can't stress how important in-person meetups are. In-person meetups allow you to get to know somebody, allows you to build rapport, allows you to let the person know what you're looking for, so when they find it, they can contact you.
So I have a question about that.
Sure.
Have you ever walked up to somebody, looked at the books, looked at them, and walked away?
Yes.
All right. What was like? How do you do that? Like, what was your purpose of doing that? And like, walk me through that.
All right. So I'll give two examples. One was on the fly at a flea market. Somebody had a bunch of books out. They didn't really know what the price was. They didn't really know how to grade. It was all unbagged and boarded. So when I went there looking, instantly the person said, "Oh, everything you get, we'll have to look it up, and then I'll let you know how much it is." And I said, "Thank you," and I put the book back down, and I went to the next place. So
Yeah.
that's a random on the spot. I was just like, "That's it. I'm out."
I don't like when people do that. I don't like when comic book stores do that. That's horrible, in my opinion. I don't like that.
Well, because what's the point of getting it through them if you can just get it through eBay? And if you're unhappy, you have 30 days to return it, buyer protection. Right. Like, who cares then? What's the point? Yeah, and then another one is a local meetup that I had, where I went to somebody's house, went in their house, looked through books, and it was about the same spiel. Oh, whatever you take out, then we'll look it up. It was like 20-minute drive. Literally, it was just, I wanted to get an idea, so I didn't waste my time. So I picked out a couple books just to see where they're at. Once I saw that they were quoting me above recent sale, like what their phone said, I was out.
And that's, I think, usually what the biggest problem is that if they have to do that, they probably, just generally speaking, they're probably not going to give you a fair offer. They're going to go to the max number that they see, and that's it. And that could be like a 9.8 sold for $1,000, but they're 5.0. They want to sell for 1,000 or 1,100.
They're holding a raw 5.0 that they want
Yeah.
9.8 money for. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no. Definitely walk away if you don't feel right. Never buy books you don't like. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't buy books I don't like, for sure.
That, and if you're a seller and you're buying books, you guys know this too. You can't buy a book at FMV if you intend on reselling it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to work with your customer on making it a deal, and you're not going to give people a reason to shop with you.
What is your percentage? Do you have a percentage that you go with?
I don't have a percentage because usually I buy bulk. And it's really hard to explain the calculation that goes through. But because I've narrowed down such a run and narrowed down the category that I have, and I've picked up so many of the same books now, it's gotten a lot easier for me to just kind of go through a short box, have a conversation, get a gauge, make a counter, and walk away with all of it. Just because I know what's fair, I know what the books are going for nowadays. You also got to go with what's hot, right? So if you're getting, mutants or Spider-Man or Batman books, books that are hot, and you get them for a really good deal, you're going to make your money back. It's what the market's demanding right now, right? You got to keep your eye on the hot books.
Yeah. So on my side, the way I've bought books, I buy a ton of books here and there from everybody. And that is honestly mostly just to support my community and my friends. So I always try to, like, if I hop into a live, I'll try to buy like one thing just to say what's up and show support. That's not really the bulk of my comics, right? A little bit of backstory. I happened to walk into my LCS and he was closing shop because he was not a very good businessman. That's what he told me. So he was like, I need to pay my rent or they're going to kick me out this week. He's like, I need you to buy comics. And I was like, I'll be back. I brought $2,000 in there with me, and he didn't help me, but he loaded up my my Xterra. I took the seats out, I loaded it up, like the whole thing had the top rack just it looked like I don't even know, like the Flintstones car with the the big meat rack on top. It looked like that. It was ridiculous driving all the way home with that stuff. So that was
you're gonna break your axle.
It was an Xterra, man. It was a Pro 4X.
That's right. You're in a truck. Okay.
So that was like really the bulk of. I got that for like 2,000, and then so basically I bought everything for like 11 or 17 cents a comic, right? So then I basically started keying it out and selling it on eBay to fund my hobby of buying local comic shop Wednesday books, which helped me out for a really long time. I really wish I would have kept most of that stuff because I did not know what I was doing. eBay fees were killing me, and I didn't realize it at the time. Sam told me, like, hey, get off of eBay and get on Instagram. The community there is crazy awesome, and you can just do something there. And I was like, I don't know. I fought her tooth and nail for a little while, and then I just tried it, and it was amazing. So now that's what we do. We do that. Then the Whatnot app came out, and now we sell on mostly the Whatnot app. But the second one, which was most recently our local LCS here, was like, hey, I got a new. This is while we were in TorpedoCon. He was like, hey, I got a new collection in. Why don't you guys come in and take a look? It was a huge collection. You got like a semi truck of a collection. You know what I mean? And so we walked in 30 minutes before opening because that's another tip I'm gonna tell you guys. Like, don't just be a customer at your LCS. Be a friend at your LCS. Because that man, Mr. Dale, if he's watching, he calls us and he says, hey, I have this thing that you're probably looking for. Come on in. And because we do so many dealings with him, that he usually gives us a pretty good price. Anyway, so we walk in and he's like, there's 2 fold-out tables with short boxes on them. And we walk in and he was like, hey, you can have, you have to buy all of that, but you can have it for this price. And we were like, oh my God, that's a lot. But per book, it wasn't a lot for what it was. So,
Right.
so
The math was right.
Yeah, the math was good. So we walked in, we took them, and we left. And that's like literally the two big hauls that we got. We don't do Macari, we don't do OfferUp because we're just not in an area that can do that. Because that stuff just it just isn't prevalent around here. You know,
Yeah,
so
I would prefer the comic book hookup. You guys seem like you're in a pretty good area for that. The Northern California area that I'm in, it's like these shops are they're
depleted.
nice. We'll just say that they're nice.
Oh, they are good. Oh, okay.
Everybody knows about them already, though. I'm coming in super duper late. Super duper late.
What's your preference on selling raw or selling graded, and the difficulties of selling raw or graded?
So I'll go first. I prefer selling graded. Obviously, not every book should be graded. But when it is graded, I feel like it's easier because the grade is usually within 0.2 of what the actual book grade is, if not completely accurate, and it leaves less questions. Honestly, I kind of feel like slabs are a little easier to ship too, just personal.
I would have to say I'm completely the opposite. What's going on, Desired? Desired's in here, Nigel.
Yo.
I'm the opposite. I prefer selling raw. I think usually, and I'm gonna go back to, I usually get a raw book for a better price than I did the graded one because it's graded. Everybody knows the price. There's no subjectiveness to it at that point in time. The price is usually the price. So, or like it's a raw book that I bought and then I had to go get it slabbed. So I have now extra money into it. So my margin isn't going to be the same. Right. So usually I can give better deals with a raw book. I can ship out, 8 in a Gemini box where I can only ship out 2 in a medium flat rate of a graded book. So me personally, I enjoy doing the raw books because I can give better deals and I get better deals. Like it's better for me to sell the raw books and it's better per book. Like per book is better. Obviously you get a bigger windfall selling your bigger graded books though.
Well, yeah, I mean, like one graded book, it's like equivalent to 20 raws or something.
Right.
Depending on what book it is. But yeah, either way, like I said, not every book should be graded either. So.
Yeah. But if I was just starting out, I would probably stick more to.
I would stick to the raws so you could get more comfortable with grading. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's 100%. One thing I asked Sam earlier. I was like, hey, we're doing this thing. This is the topic. What would you tell people? And of course, she immediately went into, she said she had 2 main points, which I agreed with. The first one I was already thinking of, and that was be completely transparent with everything you do and your customers. She brought it up in a way that, because she does our grading, she goes through all the books, she grades all the comics, and her first point was get the Overstreet grading guide because it's going to teach you how to grade. It's going to give you all the examples. It's going to, if you like visuals, it's got visuals. If you like words, it's got words. So get the grading guide and just start grading because that's what you're going to need to do. She said you can start by just visually kind of looking at it. Go through the whole book, make sure it's all there as much as you can, and grade it high, mid, low at the start. Look at it, be like, oh, this is pretty high. Like if in the book, it's got to be in the 9s just based on what I'm looking at. So this is high. And then as you get better and better, and you can see better and better, then you can start giving more specific grades like Rage does and like she does.
Oh, I'm constantly referring to the price guide too. If there's something I needed to know the other day and how bad a stain that was through like multiple pages affected the grade, so I had to knock it down from like a 4 to like a 2.0 Silver Age book. But I'm constantly looking through that thing just to refreshing myself on the correct point deduction.
Sam usually has it out because there's also this sliding scale thing in there as well. I don't know exactly how to use it. She'll probably do a YouTube video on how to grade someday. But basically it has a sliding scale that says like, here's the main issue. And there's like 7 other problems with it. And then you go to that where the best that main issue can be. So it'd be like, oh, with this big old bend, the best it can be is a 6.5 and it's got 3 other issues. three other like tick marks or something like that, and that will drop. It has a little scale that you follow, and those 3 issues will bring it down to like a 5.5 or whatever it is.
That, and I don't know. I'm sure you could relate because you probably bought and sold a lot on eBay back in the day. But when I first started out, a really good way just to get a gauge on like the near mint, VF, fine, just a gauge on that was when I bought books from reputable sellers, and they would say VF, right, event or near mint minus, and I just keep buying books and getting it, and you just kind of get an idea after a while of what that actually looks like, you know. And then when you start grading CBCS or CGC, you start getting a really good idea of what the grades are.
Yeah. Goat helmet. We'll answer this question at the end. We'll get through the regular stuff. Differences between CBCS and CGC. We'll do a little AMA at the end. This is gonna probably run a little long if you're okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, cool.
We could talk about that. Something just happened actually that concerns one of those companies.
Yeah, we're not going to discuss that. We will. That's going to be for a different time, different place. For this one, we're going to talk about what we use as a resource, and what I mean by resources is there are 5 websites or apps that I use on an almost daily basis when it comes to comics. Those in listed form, not in any particular order, are going to be GoCollect.com, CoverPrice.com, GPA Analysis, Key Collector Comics, and MyComicShop.com. Which of those do you use, if any, or if all?
The ones I've used all of those. 1, 2. The ones I prefer out of there is generally going to be eBay, GPA, Go Collect, and Key Collector. And there's different reasons for that, but we can talk about that.
Agreed. I think that each of them, the reason that we don't just use one is because they're not perfect. Each one has their place and what they're good at. I specifically use Go Collect probably the most because it gives me a non-volatile fair market value. And let me pull up what Go Collect kind of looks like. So this is what Go Collect looks like. This is, I pulled up Amazing Spider-Man 252 because I just really like the comic. You can see what they have their fair market value as here with their grades here, the last sale here. The important thing to know about fair market value on Go Collect is that it is an aggregate of not just it's an aggregate of the last 3 months of sales, but it's not just the last 9.0s that sold. So if there's no sold 9.0, it'll use the 8.5 and the 9.2 to kind of get a roundabout number in between. I don't know what their algorithm is exactly on that, but that's how it's used. The other positive thing that's really easy to use is this part on the right. Can you see this? Rage?
I can see it, yeah.
All right, cool. So this kind of tells you the percentages at how rare each grade is. So you can see like there's only 8
gives you census data too, doesn't it? Yeah,
this is the CGC census. So you can see kind of how rare a 9.8 is. There's only 10.5% of the graded comics out there are 9.8s. Where if the important thing is like if you're going to look at that and you're like, oh, let me compare that to Secret Wars 8. And because those ones for a little while were the same value at 9.8. And if you look at 9.8s, there's 25% at 9.8. So this is much less rare at 9.8 than the 252. And you're kind of seeing that the two are separating in value because I think people are getting kind of smart on that situation.
Well, rarity versus scarcity, you know.
Yes, Go Collect. Almost all of these have a subscription basis, but if you're selling, like you sell one book and you've paid for like 2 or 3 of these subscriptions, so they're usually not too much.
Usually they're less than $10 a month or something.
Yeah, they're not an exceptional amount of money, you know, not when you're selling comic books.
No, and there's free options out there too.
Yeah. Now,
Cool.
someone just brought up something that you told me earlier you use. I don't use this as much. I do use it sometimes, but not as much.
What's that? eBay sold. Oh yeah, I use it all the time. I use it all the time for pricing books, honestly, because it's like the most up-to-date sale sometimes. It's the most recent sale. But then I like to take it with a gauge and double check it on like Go Collect or GPA or something like that. Especially if it's a slab. If it's a slab, I'm kind of going more off GPA because they're pulling more resources and more slabs kind of get showcased in more auction houses. So they get to report all those numbers.
Yeah, so Go Collect and I believe GPA both pull from eBay sales already, especially on graded comics.
Right.
That's pretty much all Go Collect does. I'm not sure all of GPA. I know they use like Heritage and a few others. The reason
one thing with Go Collect, though, I want to tell you, they are on a 48-hour delay.
Yeah. The most recent, you definitely don't get the volatility in prices there, right. And that's why I use it, is because I don't see the volatility. I don't get confused by volatility. But you also don't see
the only confirmed sales. Yeah, and they wait 48 hours. They wait 48 hours because they report on only confirmed sales. Because you know sometimes it could sell and then like it gets relisted or some weird stuff happens. You know.
Yeah, Professor makes a great point for new sellers. Do not go off of the listed price. Definitely go down, scroll down on the left-hand side if you're on the website, and click. You'll have to go through the filters on the app, but click the sold items. That way you can actually see what someone bought things for, not what someone is trying to sell them for.
That's right. Make sure you check the dates.
Yeah. Goat Helmet, I agree. I'm pretty sure it's for fraudulent sales and like refunds and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Cover price, for me, I use second most, I think, when it comes to pricing comics. And I'll show you guys what that looks like here in just a second. All right, so this is cover price. Cover price, I feel, let me go to Amazing Spider-Man 252. Oops. 252. It will show you this. Another good thing, it will show you the different types of variants, especially with newer books. This is really important because if you're like, oh man, is that a reprint or not? You know, you can see it all right next to each other of what they look like, including the Mark Jewelers. They have different fair market values for the different ones. They usually also have a newsstand one with a fair market value, but their newsstand is usually not as up to date. From what I found, they do have some key information on some of their major stuff. What they usually pull from is My Comic Shop, which I'll show you guys later, and eBay. I use these to price my raw collection. So I'll usually go over to the raw comic sales. I'll click See Sales Data. That will pull up this screen here. And you usually try to use like the last 1 to 2 months. But I will go back further if, let's say this 3.5 that sold for 81 didn't exist. You know, I may go all the way back down to here to May to kind of look at what this 3.5 sold for. And usually I think these are the My Comic Shop prices or sold items because they're officially graded. The downside to cover price, in my opinion, is like this one here that sold in July. I don't know what that's from. I don't know how they got that number. I can't click on anything to take me there to see it or verify anything. But these numbers I've noticed if I go to My Comic Book Shop, they will be selling for that price on that website almost every time.
What's the difference when you go there and you go to eBay?
Let me click eBay.
Same.
Are you seeing eBay right now?
Nope, we're still on cover.
Okay, stop share. All right, I just clicked the eBay symbol at the top. Let me pull it up here and see what it looks like. So it just pulls me straight to here. Just basically does the search Amazing Spider-Man 252 at the top, and that's it. And it just shows me here.
What kind of difference are you seeing?
Sorry.
What kind of difference are you seeing in the price there?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not. It's hard for me to analyze it right now. But
Don't worry about
here's
it.
that sold item tick box that we were talking about right here on the left. You would click that, and that
Yeah,
will
blow it
now
up.
show you in the green what it was. An important note right here, this one here was a best offer accepted. The problem with this is we don't know what the best offer was accepted. It could be $100, it could be two, it could be
I think there's a way
$290.
to check actually.
Really, I don't know how to check, so I've never
There's
done it.
a particular what you got to Google it, but it's a bunch of key steps. But I believe there is a way.
Okay. So yeah, so far we've hit go collect for, I use it for mostly grading and to get like a fair market value without the volatility of the current market. We've hit cover price, GPA. You use GPA?
Mainly for slabs.
What? Tell me about it. I'll put it on the screen.
So yeah, so GPA, it's a great resource. I think it pulls from eBay, Heritage, Comic Link. I want to say it pulls from one other major auction house. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah,
it's a
I'll
really
pull
good
up
tool for you to check out
252
different
real quick for you.
grades. Yeah, it shows different grades. It shows the recent sale. Kind of like Go Collect shows, you know, if it's on the rise, trending, etc. There's Mark Jeweler differentials, variants, signatures.
Oh, that's
Um,
weird.
I think if it's sold within the last 6 months to a year, it's on there.
I gotta relog
So
in.
it's something that I know that a lot of the major vendors and dealers use at Comic-Con floors when they're checking out books, doing trades. It's
Oh
kind of
yeah, a
like
lot of the old school
the
people definitely
slab.
use GPA.
Yeah, it's like the slab price guide.
All right, here we go. They do show reprints here, the different dates up here for the different reprints. Scroll to the top to the main one.
And if you click
And
on them, it'll show you all the sales too. It like drops down another
right.
menu.
So you have your Canadian price variant of a 9.8, a cracked case 9.8, Golden State, pedigree, I assume, newsstand edition, rusted staples, signed, Twin Cities.
It's cool.
Where's
It's
the
in
regular?
there.
Oh, here's your regular 9.8 right here. I'll click on the down listing. You can get a vibe of the average prices and the price ranges. The ranges is this like light purple color, and then the fair market value roughly is the dark blue. And then this is this year. You can see the high is sold this year at 24.51 and as low as 7.50. Click the little down arrow and it should load most recently. The good thing about this one over like cover price is you can click this little arrow and it will take you to the sale.
Yep.
I
Takes you
believe
right to the
anyway.
stores.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah. You can also see most recent trends this way really, really well because you can see that it's going up or it's going down. It's really, really good for I use it for the trends more than anything because you can definitely see where it's trending and like there's a lot of volatility right now compared to here. It wasn't too much volatility, and you get over here and there's a ton of volatility in that comic price.
What's that? 252, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Venom 2 trailer.
So as a seller, the volatility is something you want to take advantage of. This is your time to buy because you can find it at the low end of that volatility, and you can hopefully sell it at the top end of it. Well, let me catch up a little bit here.
I think we could make a whole nother video about when to buy and when to sell.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's a whole nother strategy right there. Yeah, Key Collector too. Don't forget about Key Collector. I use that for keynotes, obviously. Not so much pricing, unless I'm buying.
Yeah, right.
Because for some reason, the pricing on Key Collector is just like best friend pricing. It is like pricing
so
you
bad.
wish was everywhere.
So what's great about Key Collector is you have the search. You can search through titles, the characters, categories. You can search by artists, publishers, and writers, and that's really, really amazing to me.
I do like Key Collector for the keynotes, obviously. I have noticed sometimes because I've done, similar books, grading it. If it's something that I'm really not too sure of, I may double check it on eBay on a slab that's listed just to check out the slab notes. And if those two don't match, well, then it's time for me to do my homework, right? But if they do match, then usually it's a winner.
Yeah. So here's an example.
That's a food for thought, though. Sometimes the keynotes on here differ than what's on the slab. So you have to do some homework and find out what's the truth.
Yeah. Key collector isn't 100% accurate. That's for sure. It is definitely, it's not like they talk to CGC or CBCS to compare notes or anything like that. This is just, they have their notes and CGC might have something different. So beware of that. But if you look here, I pulled up the 252 and it says that if you found a high raw graded, so a 9.0 or higher, you're going to spend less than $200, which just isn't true. Like that's not going to ever happen. That's going to be like a busted, 2.5 with, the back cover is like ripped in half price.
Direct.
So yeah, you do not, as a seller, you don't want to use these prices here. If you use these prices here, you're missing out on a lot and you're getting things for like really low prices if you're selling it and making a profit. So you could do much better.
Then you're living the dream. Yeah, then you're living the dream.
Yeah.
They give variants too. They give variant info. If you click on the cover,
yeah. Let me.
They give the date, artist.
Give me a new comic that just came out.
I don't even know.
Let's go Walking Dead.
Stray Dogs. There you go.
Oh, Stray Dogs. We can do Stray Dogs.
Mad I didn't pick up the first print. I did get the free comic book day though, Stray Dogs. So that's cool.
All right. So here's Stray Dogs #1. It has 13 variants that they know about.
13 variants.
Cool. The Blair Witch one, I think, is the best. I love that one.
Yeah, no, they killed it with the spooky. Oh, I like that Dracula one.
This one here, yeah, I like this one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on in.
I just found the second appearance and the third appearance of Moon Knight in
What?
that collection.
Yeah, out of town.
I'm serious.
Hey.
Sorry, I had to interrupt.
So let me pull up so we can see ourselves here.
What you got?
Stop.
What you got?
She said that collection I was just telling you about that we got at the LCS store. She said we're still processing it, as you can tell, but she got Werewolf by Night 33 and 37 in it.
Awesome.
Very cool. Beast Moon Knight.
I'm so excited.
Very, very cool. Super cool, Sam.
Yeah.
No, you're fine.
Hey, keep busting out that gold. We got a live sale coming.
Yeah, right. Oh, let me catch up on the comments here. Let's see. I think I'm pretty behind. All right. Goat Helmet says, what software do you guys use to track your own sales and inventory? I don't track my sales or inventory.
Right here.
We do use, I believe we use Intuit for a lot of things. And PayPal takes care of a lot of our stuff there. So just for tax purposes, we use some stuff, but we don't keep track of like sales personally like that.
Yeah, same. I just, long story short, I think I speak for most comic book hobbyists and sellers. You just kind of know how much you paid for everything, and you kind of know when you break even, and then you kind of know when you're playing with house money.
Yeah, for sure.
So to speak. Yeah, it's all about profit after you've recovered your loss.
Let's see. Frank says,
we can go into
Sam,
more detail one day.
All right, let's see. A professor says underrated feature on My Comic Shop is it tells you the number of book pages in the description. That way you know if older books are complete or not. Sounds like Beef wants to buy that book. That's hilarious. All right, so yeah, let me pull up what My Comic Shop looks like because I've used My Comic Shop for a really, really long time for multiple things. So this is, again, Amazing Spider-Man 252. They do consignment a lot. So these prices, again, are going to be very similar to your listed prices on eBay. They're not always true. Because you'll see here, this is a consignment. So the person sent this book to them to sell, and the person that sent it in dictates this number. So you'll see the prices vary pretty wildly. They do auctions on this. I just never used it, so I'm not really sure about them. But what he's talking about is this section here. They tell you how much it's supposed to be, which is going to be important if you're not sure if it's
all
a
the
reprint or not.
information, right? Year, writer, keynotes.
Yeah, you can definitely see who wrote the story, the script, who scripted it, who did the pencils, who did the covers. All
short
very,
synopsis
very
in there, right?
Yep, it gives you the whole synopsis. For the older books, because like it'll say like Jack Kirby and Stan Lee did the story number 1, and then story number 2 is like some rando people. It'll break down each one with who did the stories and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's super cool. I've used in my comic book shop to identify a book a couple times.
Yeah,
it also find it on eBay or anything else
because it shows the published dates right here. So like, let's say you had a full run of Amazing Spider-Man, right? And you just wanted to figure a bunch of stuff out. You could go to Amazing Spider-Man, and it just kind of gives you so much information here that you just keep scrolling through until you. And what I use them for is the covers. I can see the covers as I'm scrolling through, and that helps me identify, especially like if I pick up a big collection of books. It helps me sort through which of those collections are series 1 or series 2 of like Green Lantern, because I had that issue because I picked up a big Green Lantern run and they all looked exactly the same, and I accidentally like mixed them all up when I first put them in there, and my comic shop saved me from selling it all like that.
Feed collectors helped me a couple of times with categorizing like runs and collections. I bought them too, 100%.
Alter Ego says, what are your thoughts on setting up a website for selling books? Worth it? Waste of time? Maybe slabs only? Your thoughts?
I don't think it's a bad option. I think if you do it, whatever platform you're most known on, you should probably link it there. But no, I don't think it's a bad option. I just think that if you do that, you shouldn't limit yourself to just your website.
Yeah. That's a really good segue to take me into the next section I want to talk about anyways. Sure. And that is where you can sell books on. What all have you used or currently use?
So I have sold a book on almost every platform there is to sell a book, except for Heritage and Comic Link.
Oh, good. Can you go over your experiences with like the Mercaris and OfferUps and things like that?
Yeah, so Mercari is kind of like eBay, but it allows for more buyer-to-buyer communication via DM, and a little bit more deals can be worked out, but there's still a fee. OfferUp is more of like a Facebook Marketplace, which I love. Facebook Marketplace. You just have to be careful when you meet up with people. I always recommend a public space or a police station, 100%.
Yeah, I always pick a police station.
I'm a guy, and I still meet somebody at a police station, and they always respect it and appreciate that. So,
and if they don't, I'm not showing up. You know,
if they don't, there should be a problem, right? It's comic books. It's not a drug deal. We should be all right. You know?
Yeah.
But I love that. There's no fee on OfferUp or Facebook, so that's great. There are shipping options on there. Craigslist, same thing. Local, no fee. Instagram, if done correctly, no fee. It's personal DM. You could work out trades, offers.
Yeah, some people do fees on there because, like, if you want to do the
some people do fees for consignments, hosting.
Well, you have the friends and family. You have friends and family, and you have goods and services, right? So a lot of people are going to say, "Send me your money, friends and family," right? Because they don't want to eat that fee. I don't recommend doing that. I recommend doing the fees personally. For a lot of people, like if I bought from Rage, I'm going to send him friends and family because I know him. But if I don't know the person, I'm going to pay up. I'm going to pay the percentage if they ask me to. We do an invoice thing, and it. I can actually, if you ever need to go, I can just remove you from the stream for a second like that and bring you right back. But when we send out an invoice, it automatically makes people pay the fee, or like it gets pulled out of our end. Like we just lose that fee off of the book, so it's not a big deal. And that's going to be buyer protection for everyone that buys a comic from you. If it gets messed up in the mail, if it's not what they wanted and they want to send it back, like it just has a lot of protections for everyone involved, including the sellers. So
If I'm by with anybody on social media, I would always recommend goods and services.
Yeah, because you don't know how they pack, and packing is really, really important, which we'll get into.
But yeah, I have sold on every platform, and I like to utilize all options because some books are meant. Some books are meant for Instagram. Some do better on eBay. Some do great on whatnot. It's just books sell on different platforms for different reasons. Sometimes somebody locally wants to pick up a bunch of fillers out of a run, and that's what they need, right? And they come and they pick up 5 short boxes. Somebody on Instagram might be hunting a particular type of book that you have, and that's where you want to showcase that gem, right?
Yeah. So the way we've used Instagram overall is the first thing we did is we built a community of trust, right? And what we did is this was not all calculated, by the way. This is just what happened organically. We got on Instagram and we're like, all right, let's figure out Instagram for comics, right? Sam already knows Instagram, but we hopped in there. We found Dusty, Sales to Astonish, really fast. We noticed that there was a troll in there really early, in one of the early ones that we watched, and somebody was being like a real mean guy to him. And Dusty, he's nice. He was fine with it, but everyone in the comment section just roasted this guy until he left, right? And we were like, oh my God, this guy has like a cult-like following of people. Like, okay, it's like if that many people like him like that are willing to go to bat for him like that, he must be good, right? So we watched him for a really long time. We interacted with him. We asked him an absolute ton of questions. And then when we were like, okay, we think we're ready to start selling, we mirrored our first sale based on how he had his setup. So shout out to him, rest in peace. So once we built up a decent following through just interacting, through posting, so I would probably not come out the gate swinging on Instagram trying to sell, because 1, nobody's going to trust you, 2, nobody's going to see it, and 3, you're just not going to have that much interaction, and it's probably going to go for too low for you. My thoughts, I guess.
I 100% agree with that. I think that just like anything new, you should treat it like a pool in your first time swimming. You're not just going to jump off the diving board and go in the deep end if you don't know how to swim. You're going to want to wait. You want to go get your toes wet. You're going to want to figure out what you're doing, right? You're going to want to figure out how to post. You're going to want to get some friends, and you're going to want to start connecting. Yeah, that's the whole point of Instagram too, right? Is to connect.
Oh. Now, I would say it's by far the best part of Instagram is the connection you make with everybody.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's the number one reason why any of us are on there, so that we can show off our stuff, talk about it, and be around like-minded people.
I would also say if you have a negative type of personality, try to pull that back, like rein in the demons and show everybody as much love and respect as you can. Nobody likes an a-hole, and they're going to see that, and nobody's going to want to be a part of that. Nobody wants that negativity around them. So come in there with smiles, even if you had a rough day. Like, it's just like with your kids, man. You don't want them to see that you had a rough day either,
Right. Yeah. Even if you get to fake that smile.
So the reason I got all the way to here before I answered your question, Alter Ego, if you're still around, is because we just figured this out. And you might have to DM Sam because I don't remember the website, but someone had told us there's a website you can use to post your books that connects to your Instagram store. I forget what it is because we literally just set it up and we don't have anything on it yet. We knew we didn't want to use eBay as our Instagram store website, and we didn't want to set up our own because there's actually somebody else that owns skeletonkeycomics.com, and he hit us up and he tried to have us buy it for. He didn't tell me the price, but he basically was like, it only cost me $5 to keep this for as long as forever, And I was like, I was like, all right, man, like I don't need it that bad. Like move along, you know?
Yeah, calm down.
But yeah, so we figured out another way around it. So we're gonna do that. But alter ego,
Well, let me know
Sam,
what that is.
Sam has it. I wish I could remember what it is off the top of my head, but yeah, hit us up on Skeleton Key Comics on Instagram, and Rage. I'll have Sam tell you. Don't
I'm
call
sure
me
I'll
out like
need it
that.
eventually.
Yeah, so it's really gonna be good because a lot of people use that Instagram store to put up a lot of books, and it just kind of sits there, and it's kind of like a passive income kind of situation. Because it is a little boring sometimes to put this, like we had this, I really enjoy it, but we have a foil Usagi Yojimbo #6, I believe, that's signed and remarked by Stan Sakai, and
Yeah.
I love it. And for some reason, nobody wants to buy it. It ballooned up to like $400 when we initially tried to sell it. And then it's slowly kind of been going down. And so we're like, all right, let's go to 3, let's go to 250, let's go to 2. And it hasn't been selling, but that's what the fair market value is every time we put it up.
Right.
And we're always willing to take deals. But that's a really prime book I can put on the storefront, and someone's just going to come along. They're going to love Usagi, and they're going to be like, I need that. I've been looking for it. I want it. Click buy. So the website has a place, especially when you have an Instagram, I think.
I think so. And I also think that it doesn't be heard enough, but I do think claim post eventually, when you get a good following and a good relationship built up with your followers, claim post can be really effective too.
Yeah.
But that trust factor needs to be there. That's number one. Back to what Tony was saying, it's best to build yourself up first and then do that.
This is a pretty good question, more for you. Rage and Sam are really, really good at manipulating Instagram and how they use Instagram versus like they just know a lot of how to use it.
So backstory, I used to work for Instagram and Facebook. So that definitely helps. Something I can tell somebody who hasn't is that whatever platform you're on, whether it's eBay, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, you can kind of tell based on most listings or most posts, there's a general formula to it, right? So on eBay, you're going to want to have good pictures. You're going to want to have a very detailed listing. You're going to want to go over your defects of everything, right? Instagram, you're going to want to have a good picture. You're going to want to tag people. You're going to use hashtags. Everything's about relevancy. Everything's about, back to what Tony said, expressing yourself, being honest about it, and being genuine. People know genuine. People know honesty, and people know if you're telling the truth and if you're real about what you're saying. That's the best advice I could give, is just be real. Know what lane you want to be in and honk the horn and blast the lights as loud as you can and rep it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Rich. Were you reading that?
What is that? Hey, there you go. 100%.
Yeah. A lot of people feel the same way, and I feel the same way. I would much rather buy from somebody that I get a show out of as well as a book. So
I always tell people, people buy the book, but they're also buying the person attached to the book.
Yeah. Repeat customers is also one thing you want to remember. And that's I'm going to harp on packaging a lot because that's what I do a lot for Skeleton Keys. I do almost all of the packaging. And people will try you out. Like you might have this really big book they want, but they're going to buy your $5 book first and see how it arrives. How you take care of their $5 book is really important. So if someone buys a $1 book from you and that's all they got, take care of it like it's $1,000 book.
Yeah.
And the way I
for the customer too, when you're talking to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's the same. Every book's the same attention, same detail, same effort.
Exactly. 100% that's true.
If somebody shouts you out for a $5 X-Force 1, man, you better put the bells and whistles on that shout out, just like somebody shouted you out for an ASM 129.
100%.
Like
100% correct.
They both better be dabbing. Right? That's all. That's it.
Yeah. When I first started, I Googled how to package comics. And the way I modeled how to do it, this was for eBay. When I was selling on eBay, I was like, I don't know how to send books to people. So how do I do this? And I had recently sent books to CBCS to get graded. And they had a FAQ, and one of them was how to package books to get them there. And I basically followed that formula initially when I sent books out, and I've kind of like honed it in a lot and flared it out a lot. And we have a video for how to package raw comics up right now. You can check that on this channel. So I went through the whole process of how I personally package comics. I believe Rage does almost identical type of packaging when it comes to quality, and the basics are there. He uses slightly different cardboard than I do, but all in all, he does a very similar product that we do here, which is basically top notch. So, in my opinion.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've kind of done the same way. I didn't watch a video, but mine was kind of just from buying from different people, right?
Thanks,
and just
Frankie.
seeing different ways that people would do it, and just kind of taking a little bit from this guy, a little bit from this guy. What does this guy do? You know, I'm constantly incorporating new things. There's actually one thing you talked about in your recent video, where I don't think I did it on that one, but I did it on the last Whatnot sale, where little piece of tape on the bottom and the top corner of that Gemini so they don't slip out. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I recently started incorporating that because, you know, one or two books, yeah, it can slip out. So that's clutch. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm constantly incorporating new ways to just make it just a pinch better.
Yeah, and that was I figured that one out really late, and I remembered it was from the FAQ of CBCS from a decade ago that I had read on their website, and it said what you want to do is make sure that the comic book does not move in the package. And I picked up a package I was going to get out the door, and I heard the comics shifting just a little bit in there, and it bothered me. So I was like, I just need to open that up and I can tape it down to the packaging and then it'll be good to go.
Yeah, and even now, like I said, all packages that arrive fine, never a complaint. It's best to address it before you get one.
Yeah.
If you can take care of something early, do it.
How has your experience on Whatnot been? Oh, let's explain Whatnot real quick. You want to explain Whatnot?
Sure. So Whatnot is, in my opinion, a more social app for selling than eBay. Similar to eBay, but it definitely has more of a custom social feel to it. It provides a tool for you to use an auction or buy it now, same as you would do on Instagram or something else, but there's no lag. They vet the buyers. Payment information is already there. Shipping labels are created. You don't have to invoice your customers. It's very seller friendly and user friendly, I think. Hey, appreciate it.
Yeah. So our experience with Whatnot has been, hey, what's up? Comics with Bonix has been really good. It's tough at first because just like with Instagram, you don't want to jump in head first. You don't know how it's going to go. Is the market saturated with buyers? Is it saturated with sellers? Like, it's kind of hard to tell. There seems to be someone selling on Whatnot all the time. And competition is pretty real on there. And it's pretty new. And it's like, okay, well, how do I differentiate myself on there compared to on Instagram? Instagram's pretty easy to, I wouldn't say easy, but it's, you know, you can build a following on there and you can see it as it grows. Where on Whatnot, we had, I think 50 or 60 people in our sale, like the first and second time. And then we had like 10 to 12 when we had like 300 more followers. And it's like, okay, well, like this is a lot to figure out on Whatnot. But
To be honest,
so far, it's been doing pretty good. Go ahead.
Now, I was going to say, for the most part, very rarely is there a loss on a book. Even when it's auction style, they're generally selling for right at FMV, if not a pinch above. So it definitely helps. What is that? That's the end, Dad. Hey, appreciate it, man. Well, painter's tape isn't just for paint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? It's not just for tape. People forget. Painter's tape is the way. It will allow you to mess up one time and not regret it. But back to whatnot.
Oh no, I think we just lost Rage. I don't know where he went. So we'll wait for him to come back. I'll just keep talking and we'll get through some other stuff. One thing I definitely don't recommend you sell to is going to be your local comic book store. You should pretty much only be buying from your local comic book store. Oh, here he is. Let's see him.
I don't know what just happened.
Oh, I moved on. I was like, I didn't know how long you were going to be. So I was like, I just started talking about something I knew was going to be short. So give me 1 second. I was telling them that for your local comic book store, as one thing I had written down on where to sell, because you'll commonly, if you Google where do I sell comic books, it's going to say almost every website is going to say, oh, you can sell all your stuff at the local comic book store. But you pretty much never want to do that because they're a store and they want to maximize their profits. They're going to give you anywhere between they're going to super lowball you at 20%. Maybe they'll give you a fair offer at 50% of fair market value. And it's just not where you want to go. You want to go there.
It's a great example of that.
What's that?
Is back in the day when you could take your game, back in the day, you could still do it. When you take your game to GameStop, it's like $1.
Exactly. It's the same.
It's the
same
best example I could give.
Yep.
If anyone's ever taken their used games to GameStop, that's what it's like.
Sounds like
whatnot has been tough to gauge.
He said he doesn't like the auction heavy whatnot part. He likes the buy it nows more. As a seller, I don't know. The auctions are pretty nice. There's been a couple issues I know on there from some sellers where they hype up books and they're taking advantage of how short the auctions and the lack of lag that there is on the site. And they'll be like, oh man, this amazing Spider-Man cup I have here, it's a super rare, hard to find. You'll never find this book anywhere in the wild. And it could be like a $1 dollar bin book that you find everywhere. And they'll hype it up and it goes for like $30 and you're like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing? That's not cool, man. But yeah, I just usually start it at $1 for 1 minute, and it has that little timer that gets reset at 10 seconds if someone bids.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a great alternative.
Yeah.
We started on IG, so I'm kind of still I want to save the gems for the IG fam, but I do know there's some IG fam over on the whatnot, so we try to balance it as best we can,
Yeah. Yeah, we did an entire sale of buy it nows, and it did go well, to be honest. It was after our sale that didn't go very well, and we're like, all right, let's try something new on that app specifically, and we'll just do all buy it nows with heavier books. And I think we sold like 9 or 10 books for a few $100s each, and it went really well for us. So
right.
I don't think you can go really wrong. Just you have to kind of try things out a little bit and see where what people like.
Yeah, start off small.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you, man. That's super nice.
Thank you. You know me, I try to do 1 hour only, but sometimes we go over.
Professor, so one thing that Whatnot wants everyone to know is that the Whatnot app is still in beta form. This, from what I understand, is like legitimately the first app that they produced out, and it has not been upgraded since. But they are working on the upgrade. I don't know that I don't have a timeline on it, but pretty much anything and everything you can think of that you want to have happen as a buyer and seller on the app, they are producing, and it will be there.
Cool. Did you want to talk about that grading question?
Yeah. Give me let's see, one more thing here. Let's see. You sold on eBay. Do you still sell on eBay?
Very rarely do I sell on eBay. I think I'll
I don't
probably
sell on
put
eBay either.
maybe a book or two a month just to kind of keep the reviews coming. I have excellent reviews on eBay as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I stopped using eBay. The fees are really, really heavy. The community is not very engaging, and a lot of the buyers that you run into aren't very good.
Nope.
And you can get scammed pretty easily as a seller on there because it's so buyer centric. You can literally just send it to them, signature verified, and they'll just put "did not receive," and
Yeah, did not receive.
you have to issue that refund and figure it out with the post office yourself, and it's not good.
Yeah, hopefully you have collectible insurance.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. A couple other things I wanted to run over. Oh, a couple of resources I do not use. I don't use the Overstreet price guide. I think it's an archaic form of pricing. It's prices that were correct a year to a year and a half ago of when it was published, which is not how you want to do it as a seller. So I don't use that. And I know some people have brought up comicbookpriceguide.com. Have you ever used that?
Never used it. Heard of it.
It looks a lot like Go Collect. I had found it before I found Go Collect a really long time ago, and I did use it for a little while until I couldn't figure out how they came up their pricing for things that had never sold. And it looks very similar. Like it has all the grades, it has raw and graded values. But I felt like, I don't know this for sure. I just felt like it was kind of made up, and I didn't really understand it. And if you look at like sold prices versus what was actually on there, it didn't make any sense. So I stopped using it completely.
One resource I do want to throw out there that I don't think most people are aware of, but depending on what type of book it is, and this will most likely apply to slabs, but if it's a very common, I don't want to say common, but if it's a very popular grail or key, like an ASM 300 or like an ASM 129 or something that's just a very popular blue chip type book, it doesn't hurt to always check out some of the big sellers on Instagram as well. I could throw out a lot of names, but there's a lot of big time sellers on there that are constantly just posting slabs that get claimed, and you can always check like a real time, like yesterday somebody claimed this book at this. That's just a side note. Very rarely do I do that, but there have been times that I've checked out accounts just to get a double check on what did that just get claimed for? What did that? Because that's an Instagram price. That's a no fee, essentially type price. So it's kind of like cheating, but
It's a good tip, man. It's a good tip.
Well, I mean, you don't have to figure out. You don't have to look at recent sales, figure out fees. What's a good deal on Instagram? You can see it.
Yeah. If I gave anyone a overarching tip when it comes to where to sell, it would be know the market that you're selling in. There's, especially on pretty much all of these things, you can probably maybe not eBay for comics, but a lot of things you can just get on YouTube and say, how do I use Instagram better? What is Whatnot and how do I use it? Like there's just so many ways you can just grow as a seller, and it's not just always the books you sell or your followers. It can be how you make a post, how you do stories, and how you do all that kind of stuff. Not everyone is on been hired by Instagram and or is an Instagram model such as yourself.
Thank you. You're too kind.
Yeah. So the last thing I wanted to go over was just something real quick because I know we're running super long, which I apologize for to our 13 fans.
We appreciate you.
I appreciate you all. So selling as a career, that's what I want to do. I want to get out of the military and I want to do this for the rest of my life. And so I sat down and I was like, okay, well, what things do I do that maybe the hobbyist that sells doesn't do, right? One is going to be, you need to figure out your profit margin. And this is going to be difficult because you're going to run into books that look like a deal and you have to let them go because it's not a good enough deal for you. I am a staunch believer that I make my margin at X percentage And if the price is above what I think I can sell it for at that percentage, I don't buy it. It doesn't matter for the shop. And that for my PC, that's different. I'll buy books at fair market value for my personal collection.
That's a different video.
I have a short box of speculation stuff that I will buy at a little bit higher with the expectation that the price will go up. But for the most part, I am very staunch about my profit margin percentage, where I try to find the deal, which like Rage said, you're going to find that if you buy in bulk more than individual issues.
Piggybacking off what you said, though, one thing I do like to do when it comes to profit margins, which helps, is if there's books good enough in there that I'm buying, I like to get an idea of what I might submit, which can also help me make up more profit margins. So I like to get an idea of the raws that I'm going to be selling and how that's going to help me recover. And then I like to get an idea of what books I'm going to be submitting to further help me down the line, just in case I make back my profit or not.
Let's see. What makes a book a key or a grail? That's a super common newbie question.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I can. So this is where you want to be careful with using Key Collector. Key Collector will throw out some crazy key information. It'll be like, oh, this is the first appearance of Ben Parker's left toe. And you're like, what? That's not, I don't care about that.
Cameo.
Yeah, in Cameo. But Key Collector can tell you a lot of the bigger books. Like you can look at ASM 252 and see that it's the first time he's in a black suit, you know? Usually a key is first appearances are going to be almost always key, especially if they're an important character or become an important character. Major turning points of a character is going to be a key. So like Black Suit Spider-Man is a huge key because like the whole storyline changes at that point in time.
First solo series, first crossovers.
Rogue joining the X-Men, that's a key issue. It's not a super big key, but it's considered a minor key. So any first, second type of appearance and usually a big turning point for a character or a team or something like that. Grails are going to be, how would you define a grail?
So for me, a grail would typically be defined as something that you can't find often in the wild. Something that just isn't always readily available. Those would just be keys or non-keys, in my opinion, if they were. A grail is something that all the keys for a particular run revolve around.
Right.
So if you're talking ASM 252, if you're talking ASM 300, if you're talking ASM 129, well, what do those revolve around, right? Those revolve around Spider-Man. What does Spider-Man revolve around? Well, that's going to be ASM 1 and AF 15, which are going to be his first and second and first cover appearances, you know. First time you see, like you said, the first time you see that character.
Yeah. I think that's a really good way.
Don't have to be expensive.
Way of pointing out.
I don't think grails have to be expensive. I think you could
totally
look at
agree.
America Chavez, her first appearance. It's still somewhat affordable. That could be somebody's grail.
Agreed. A lot of it, like you can have a key issue be your personal grail.
That's right.
But there is, so there, you have grail and it gets used in both ways. Like
we could say personal grail and grail.
Right. And I think that's what Professor here is talking about. My personal grail is going to be Albedo #2, the first appearance of Usagi Yojimbo. It is a super rare book. It is a little bit expensive now. But just a few years ago, it wasn't. But it was still a grail book because it was just so hard to find.
Right. I recently picked up a grail. I do have what I consider a holy grail, which is Cap 1. But like I said, you know, that's what I consider a holy grail. That's like, wouldn't even matter if I could get it. No justification could make me get it. Like, there's certain books that are just, you put the word holy in front of grail for that one.
Right. Sounds like Beef. This is the exact thing I was talking about. Key Collector is pretty silly about some of their keys. So you do have to be use a little bit of common sense when you're reading these things. Obviously, the 5th issue of Avengers Forever is not a key to have on there.
Right.
Let's see. Selling
Go
as
back
your
to
career.
CGC slab clarification, by the way. If the
Sorry?
keynote seems circling back to CGC slab verification on keynotes too. It's a good way to double check, cross-reference.
Yeah, Sam does that. She'll
Yep.
you know, because like sometimes the key information is going to be weird, so she'll just get on eBay, look up
Yeah.
the book that's graded, and then she'll just zoom in
Yeah.
onto
And you're already
that
looking
area.
up the price too, so it's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You know?
Yeah, true story. Let's see. We already said we buy in bulk if you can, especially if it makes sense to do so.
Don't forget
If
about
you can buy,
trades.
yeah, if you can buy older books, that's kind of where you're going to be. Like I think early bronze is a undervalued area that a new person can get into for relatively cheap and still buy in bulk. So that like 1970s era is I think a really prime area for someone new to get into. Let's see. We talked little bit about making connections with others. This is not going to be just making connections with other buyers. You're going to want to make connections with other sellers. You're going to want to make connections, like I said, with your LCS store specifically. The importance of making a connection with a seller is shout outs. So I know Whatnot community is pretty cool about this. If I, as Skeleton Key, will hop into, let's say, Red Hat. If I go into Red Hat's sale, he will be like, "Oh my gosh, guys, check out Skeleton Key.
Yeah.
He does great stuff, or they do great stuff." So go over there, follow him. He does, you know, they do awesome stuff. And if I see him hop into mine, I do the exact same thing, and you'll see in your followership will grow. Just a couple here, a couple there.
Whatnot is very good for that. Instagram, however,
Instagram
you better be friends with that seller if you want him to shout you out. That's all I gotta say.
Instagram can be a little clicky. It can be a little mafia-esque at times. It is definitely a place that I don't swim in because the sharks are real. I leave Instagram to Sam because she can swim those waters and I cannot. So there are dangerous people there with smiles on their faces. I don't know who they are particularly, so I try to stay away. I just do my what's up. I do my tags and I get out before I get stabbed, you know? So yeah, just be careful. Let's see.
When in doubt, DM Rage or Skeleton. Huh?
Yeah, really. Let's see. Be thoughtful in what you do and be patient. I wrote that down specifically. And what I mean by thoughtful is like literally everything you do, you need to think about how it affects you and how it affects the seller, because how it affects the seller is just as important as how it affects your bottom line, because you want that person to come back. You want that person to shout you out. You want that person to be happy. If that person's happy, you're going to be happy. That's even if you lose on it, you'll eventually gain a good, a recurring buyer, and that's really what you need if you want to turn this thing into a career or find your AF-15.
100%. You got to have good customer service. Honestly, if somebody's unhappy, you have to do everything to make them happy, even if that means going outside your norm and just utilizing all options available. I mean,
yeah,
it's not hard, you know. If somebody's unhappy, you just make it right.
All right. So 2 last things for me. Sorry, 3 last things. 1, packaging supplies. I have my whole list of packaging supplies in the description of this video and all the other videos on YouTube. You can see what all we use. Rage uses a lot of the exact same stuff. Gemini boxes are the staple of the community. If you don't ship raw books in a Gemini box or something similar, then you're probably going to be looked down on, you know, as a seller. Like you're gonna be like, okay, you're a second-class citizen. As a seller, I'm not going to trust you as much. I won't buy big books from you. That's pretty much true across the board.
Cardboard is clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna want to use sheets of cardboard on both sides of books.
Yeah. The last thing I would say that's secondary priority, but very important still, is going to be you need to stand out and brand yourself. Let me show you an example using Rage as my example, he always puts this please handle with care sticker here over this part here. I'll always know if this is tampered with because that'll be sealed. If not, he has this really cool, oh, where'd it go? He has this cool stamp with his Instagram logo on here. He always throws in the sticker. He always has a sword. He always has his business card. Not everybody does. He always has this sticker here, which says like handle with love, I think. Or no, opening this package will cause extreme happiness. This is always on there and it always makes me smile. So that's how he stands out compared to other people. We do similar things, but also different. Yep. So when y'all gonna get Rob in here from Comics Explained? Well, Rob is probably busy because he's got, like 3 million followers.
Recording a video right now as we speak.
Yeah. I would absolutely I adore Rob from Comics Explained. I think
me and Tony literally have fallen asleep to his voice.
I have 1,000 times. Yeah. So I was in Korea for a year, and I throw it on sometimes upstairs. Sam, she now can't sleep unless I put YouTube on. Just listen to the sweet sounds of Rob.
My wife, who doesn't know too much about comics, knows that guy by his first name. She's like, "Did you fall asleep to Rob last night?" I was like, "How did you know?" She's like, "Well, I heard that." And she like mimics the voice. She's like, "I heard you were talking to you."
Yeah.
I would love that though.
I throw on.
Shout out to Rob, huh? Get in here.
Yeah. I put on his full storylines, his playlist with like the full storyline. It's like 6 hours long, and I just throw that on. It just stays on all night. I've learned. I've learned.
He goes in, bro.
So
I didn't know.
I've learned
about cosmic stuff.
Sorry?
Mutant. I didn't know too much about cosmic stuff. He was one of the main guys that really kind of just let it click for me. Because I'm still relatively newer to comics, and just keeping up with it all is crazy, man.
That's one thing I do want to point out is there is a lot of YouTubers that I use as a resource. I didn't write it down. I forgot to write down the name.
About that. I could list them right now. You want to go?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So literally, I want to say on a daily to every other day basis, I'm constantly listening to Comic Tom, Reggie Collects, Cosmic Wanderer, Comics Explained, Emergency Awesomeness, and New Rockstars. No matter what.
So those are like really big guys. Some other smaller end guys. So you have what is that one guy? It's like the 9.8 crew or something like that. He only talks about the market when
9.8 CGC 9.8.
It's just CGC 9.8.
CGC 9.8
something, right? And he only talks about the CGC 9.8s that he thinks are going to go up in value or go down in value. He has really great information. He goes really in depth on the market when it comes to
Como
CGC
Comics too.
Who?
Como Comics.
Oh yeah. I listen to him sometimes. There's one called Economics and Comics. That's pretty good. I don't know if you know
Comics
him.
or Bonics?
No, economics and comics.
No, I'll write it down.
Yeah, it's pretty good. There's Swaggle House. He goes into.
I like Comics and Bonics. I like Swaggle House. Yep.
So, anyways, the point is like the YouTube community. You can find like just absolute ton of tips and market trends and information throughout a ton of people on here that I use. I listen to YouTube on my way to work almost every day.
This is pretty good actually, and I give him mad props for doing it while he's hunting, because I don't know how he does it. It's very Gary.
Very Gary. I watch
Very Gary. I
don't
know how he does that, and how the people he's buying those books from are just whatever. I'm like, yo, if I tried that one time, like, what are you doing?
So, I hear that's something that you just get used to.
Right?
Dealing with, and people give you the look, but if you're a continual vlogger, like that's just something you have to get. You're literally on there so that people watch you, and somebody else in real life is watching you, and you just get used to that. What's going on? Chino Perilla's in here.
Hey, fellow mutant.
I think that's all I got. That's all I wrote down.
Well, it's not like we didn't fill up the hour.
Yeah. All right.
Killed
So
it.
if you stayed with us for all 2 hours, please in the comment section below. If you watch
2
this on the
hours?
replay,
Really?
2 hours,
Woo.
bro. Yeah.
Hey.
Let us know what resources you use. If it's anything different, if it's the same, please let us know. That would be great. If you have tips, if you're a seller and you have tips for everybody else, throw it in the comment section. Not this one live because people aren't going to see it as much. Just hop in and throw it in the regular comment section. We have 15 people in here with it looks like one like. So one Facebook like. I forgot I was on Facebook today.
Cool.
I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
Yeah. We're streaming live on YouTube and Facebook today. Use
One
these
of the days I'll get a camera here and link it to the IG. We'll get a trifecta.
A lot of people said, let's see, Professor said A plus work, gentlemen. Of course, Professor says A plus. Great information, guys, from Frankie. Thank you. Coco says great information as well. Andy says I use D's. Is that you, man? Are you D's World?
2 people wrote that down. I got to check it out now. D's World Comics.
Chino said nice job, guys. Thank you, guys. And Beef said great show. Appreciate all you guys. A lot of you guys stayed in here the whole time. I really, really appreciate you guys. You guys won't have to do that. I gave this show 5 beefs, says Beef.
Appreciate it. Thank you. You guys are great. We'll have to talk about CGC and CBCS next time.
Oh, yeah. Real quick, we can knock that question out because he just asked what's the difference. CGC does often sell more than CBCS does. Not always, but sometimes, yes. I would just say, generally speaking, will sell a CBC one higher than a CBCS. Whether that's right or correct doesn't matter. It's more of a fact than whatever. CBCS you can use for verified signatures. They do verified signatures compared to CGC does not. They just do the witness signatures. That's going to be your biggest key difference. That's it. And then nobody uses PGX anymore. There was some shady stuff from what I understand that went down there. That was before my comic time frame, so I'm not sure exactly what happened. But when I entered the comic space, PGX was not trusted.
Rumor has it when they first started, they were unfamiliar with Resto.
Oh no!
So they didn't know how to check. I don't know if they didn't know how to or they didn't do it correctly, but they didn't know how to check for Resto and pages.
Thanks, Radley, man. This is our first time. We usually don't do a lot on Facebook, and I was like, you know what? I need to change that. Usually, everything that gets posted to Facebook is actually just stuff that got posted to Instagram, and it got double posted to Facebook as well.
That's awesome.
But I need to get over onto Facebook. I really need to
I need to make a Rich Theo on Facebook. I know. But piggybacking off what you said, CGC, I do notice the books kind of do sell quicker and for more. They're better for, sales. It applies to a larger audience. I feel like CBCS is kind of more niche market at the moment. One of the biggest differences I feel like when it comes to CGC and CBCS is their census. Also the fact that they do custom labels and CGC witnessing.
The custom labels is really cool. I do actually like that.
I do enjoy the custom labels. Like I said, their census is deep. There's a reason why GPA focuses heavily on CGC. But both great grading companies. Both are basically the 2 pillars, and it's I feel like the 2 best options when it comes to comic books. No really other grading companies compare. Just they're both very good for unique situations.
Agreed. I think that if you heavily favor one over the other, I would say you're not necessarily wrong or right, but I do think they both need to exist because if only one exists, if only one of them exists, then the market would be so bad. Because I know a lot of people really complaining that CGC raised their prices, but I think they kind of evened it out with CBCS because I was already paying those prices with CBCS, and then they raised their price with CGC, and then we did our first submission with CGC, and I felt like I was just paying normal prices that I had been paying this whole time with CBCS. So, but if CBCS went away or CGC went away, those prices are going to skyrocket. Not only because there's only one
they're
place
going
to
to be so
go,
busy.
but the demand is going to be so high they have to raise the prices.
They wouldn't even be able to keep up with it if one of them goes away. It would be horrible.
Yeah, turnaround time can be wonky actually. Depending on it doesn't matter. Like
what you're getting graded.
I use both. I've used both for I use CGC now. I use CBCS for a really long time. The turnaround time is pretty similar. I mean, there's not much difference between 2.5 months and 3 months, or 3.5 months and 3. And it varies just depending on what they got going on. I don't want them to rush through the process either. So I'm not really going to complain.
That, and I don't know if most people realize this, depending on what book it is you're submitting and if you're trying to do a quick flip on it or not. But most of the times, the longer they take on a book, it's not necessarily a bad thing because the book will be more expensive.
A lot of times it's true.
Just saying, depending on what book you submit.
I don't know if CBCS does it, but CGC does do drop-offs. So like if you're in Florida, you can drop it off to their actual place, and your turnaround time moves up pretty, like I think it's like 2 or 3 weeks. It's pretty good. If you happen to be in the area.
Experience at Torpedo, they have a really easy signature walkthrough submission process. It was like super easy to do.
Yeah. If you want to see how that kind of goes down, I have a small like 3-minute video that I posted of me at Torpedo Con before it opened, and I walked around the con. I saw the CGC guy, I said what's up to him on the video, and he's literally standing in front of like where Donnie Cates and Frank Cho were sitting. So you can kind of see how that witness guy goes, and that's who you would get your comic signed, and you'd like basically walk straight to that guy. He fills out a form, throws it into a tamper-proof bag, and then you just walk that over to the CGC booth and then fill out your paperwork there.
That's a done deal. Oh my gosh. What happens when AI grading happens?
I don't know. Skynet. Yeah, Skynet happens.
Yeah,
sounds
right?
like you.
I was going to say, man, if they get a computer grading over there, I don't want to know. Could you imagine if they had computers grading our books? They just put it in like a scanner, just scans it for defects.
That'd be rough.
That would be actually very accurate, though.
Would it?
It would do a scan. It'd be like tick. It would measure it. It would give the exact point deduction. Man,
I don't know if I've ever used a computer before, but they are not always accurate. It all also depends on like the user putting stuff in there.
Well, I'm just saying it'd be like almost like a copy machine, right? You put it in there, scans it, pulls it up in the thing, and it just gives actual deductions based on what's wrong with it. You know, it's like, oh man, can you imagine how precise the grades would be? Forget about the 9/8, bro. Greater PSA. Hey, I got cards at PSA right now. I just submitted some cards, some Deadpool rookie cards, man. It's been like 4 months. It's still on process, 3 out of 8.
Yeah. All right, that's we are at 2 hours. We need to get out of here. It's midnight. I do work in the morning.
I have comic book work to do right now. We have an IG live sale coming up, my friend, and it will be nuclear.
Yeah, we're gonna bring a lot of really bigger books than we normally bring. That
Silver
are raw,
and copper and bronze, baby.
Yeah, that's the plan, because we wanted to really tone down the Instagram from being too heavily like sending out mass comics. We want to lower it and increase the value of each individual comic, and we can move a lot of those other comics to Whatnot that we're selling. So you can expect some really cool older. We'll probably be pulling from that new collection that we got that are all Silver Age and early Bronze is what you can expect probably from us.
Sweet. And then, yeah, check out my page, Rage Theo, anytime. I'm going to have, a bunch of previews on there for our upcoming live.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate you coming out.
Hey, thank you. It was another blast. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Appreciate
you guys.
Hit me up in the DMs on your question. I'll answer it for you still.
Yep. And if nobody subscribed to Skeleton Key, subscribe to Skeleton Key. Like this video. And please give us some questions you would like answered for the next one.
Yeah, I can actually put that at the bottom. Look at that. Boom.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Sam has a TikTok. You can go over there
Oh
and see
yeah,
Sam
you won't
on
find
her
me on TikTok yet. Okay, not yet.
Yeah. All right. Hey,
But
I
I have been
appreciate you.
getting
I love
asked.
you. All right. I love
Love you
everyone
too,
in the
man.
in the
Have a
in
good night,
the
bro.
in the comment section. Well, you can stay on, man.
Okay.
I'm gonna end the broadcast. All right.
All right.
Good night to everybody.
See
See
you
ya.
guys.